你換咗係咪？
換咗 tip 嘛，呢個 new tip 嚟嘅。
影下影下。
The city of Perth. Tall building. Other than that, no tall building.
Yeah.
I think that's the Memorial Park. Okay, there'll be the cross there. This is a very accurate mechanical clock. Now it's exactly 11:03 and it's showing 11. Great.
哎呀，你一般是很吃小吃。
哎，
我亲。不要吃的。哎，大概说。
嗯。你應該點樣影呢度多表啲？呢邊就冇多表啲嘅。做咩你嘅面冇睇到嘅，你睇嗰度啊！
啊，睇嗰度啊！
佢落呢站係嘛？
梗係影嗰度啦。
哇，有人帶狗嚟喎！
周圍對。
Very cool 啦。
Really? Good.
Đấy, cô đuổi.
Đây. Dạ. Anh ra cho
嗰啲名啊，係代表咩啊？
The war that they fought in 啊。
啊？
The war that they were involved in。
死去開嗰啲人。
唔係啦。
係。Sinai, Gaza, Palestine。哦，影啊！啊？
Not a problem.
你嗰 pose 係咩明星嘅 pose 嚟嘅？啊？
嚇！ country 喎。
你唔知中意冇啫，有啲人唔中意。
你咁靚仔，你咁有型。
得啦，幾多點㗎？幾多點㗎？
我哋驚唔我哋記咗。
咩樹嘅呢棵？啊？咩樹嘅？Eucalyptus 啊，好似啊？Alexandra，你怎么叫 Alexandra？嗰啲嚟。
生一個仔啊？呢個係女啊 ？Alexandra， 冇啦 ，Alexandra 有啲係男仔嚟嘅，你都冇。
呢個係佢嘅皇朝啦，ring 啦，皇朝啦。
Australia was colonized 唔識 and 識 federate 唔識。
Federated。
OK， 到我姐讀，佢識喎。睇下喂
Queen and Empress 1837，喂，識喎，成 1901. During her reign, Australia was colonized. Right.
Colonize 啊。
Huh? Colonized. And federated.
要请快点意思啊，不要你吐啊！
哦，佢講 During 撞嗰次事啊，嗰個佢都唔知啊，佢唔識啊，咩嚟嘅點咧？講嘅。
佢咁出在咩都唔識。你而家幾多點喂？
嗰棵大樹已經到。
啲啊！
11:41。
嚟快啲啊！
啲啊！
呢度幾唔平啊！
係啊。
對住我喎。
That's a long time for a young girl.
Good dog.
Oh, you feel
Good dog. Not you. Thank you. 嚇？
Pitbull 啊！
好似 border collie 嘅。嗯？ Yeah.
快啲，我未。
影嚟啦，睇下我都影出嚟。
I talk too much and they can't ask questions.
Keep talking, they can't get in.
It's all good fun, isn't it?
Hello, he's going the wrong way.
The last few days I haven't seen them because
佢係叫 名個仆緊多。
yeah, but they've written letter from the work about buses here.
Yeah.
And also, also if you do the same
Yeah,
thing,
well, yeah.
yeah. Because that's a normal.
Yeah, in the summertime, mate.
Oh yeah, if you let them come here all the time,
Oh,
they stay. And even the buses coming around here, you go try to get out. They're long vehicles, they're the same. If I were the trailer,
Mine don't bend right.
bends a bit anyway.
我哋咩色？
我哋 case
And then
So nothing new, nothing good.
No news is good news.
係呢個錯邊
Well, we've got to win the Soccers tonight.
1872 was known as Mount Eliza Park. In 1895 there was a name change. It was called Perth Park. 6 years after that, in 1901, it was dedicated to King Edward VII of England. Since then, it's been Kings Park. Kings Park covers an area here of 408 hectares or 1,000 acres. It's one of our national treasures. Kings Park contains botanic gardens, nature parks, a tower lookout, war memorials and memorials of some of Perth's principal pioneers. There's various amenities, viewpoints, picnic spots, barbecue areas, public facilities, open air amphitheatres, the treetop walk and much more. 2/3 of the page cycleways. In the centre of the roundabout ahead of us is a statue of Lord John Forrest. He was an explorer and a statesman. He was the first Premier of Western Australia and the first President of Kings Park. He was also Western Australia's first-born Baron and Australia's First Minister for Defence, Lord John Forrest. Along the footpath to the left, approximately 300 metres, is the Federation Treetop Walk. The other side of the car park to the left front, about 80 metres or so, there's a large boab tree. That boab tree was brought down from the Kimberley region of WA not quite 2 years ago and replanted there. It's over 750 years old. These black and white birds just down to my left front. Well, left rear is a mudlark. The other ones are larger black and white birds are magpies. They're quite docile now, but during their mating season they'll swoop anyone in their environment. Just through to our left front here, there are 17 hectares of botanic gardens. During the wildflower season, August to October, in these gardens you'll find up to 3,000 varieties of plants and wildflowers. And they represent some of the 12,500 different varieties found around Western Australia. That's more than anywhere else in the world except for South Africa. There's different gardens scattered throughout the botanic gardens. This garden on our left front is the Gelton Wax, Kangaroo Paws and Cat Paws garden. There are only 12 varieties of kangaroo paws and they're all native to Western Australia. At the moment there are 455 hybrids or crossbreeds of kangaroo paws. Most of the gardens are left here are hybrids.
人喺度冰啲添啊！
Down to the left front is the Pioneer Women's Fountain Statue and Water Garden, dedicated to the courage, strength and tenderness of our pioneer women. The sculpture of the pot with that holding the baby was done by Margaret Priest. At the bottom of the hill is a gazette, waterways, walkways, reticulated lawns and gardens. Just down the grassed area, through the trees to our left front, about 90 metres or so, just before the bushed area, on the ground is a yellow plaque. And to the left and behind that is a Nutsia floribunda, the world's largest mistletoe, and Western Australia's traditional Christmas tree. They're only native to this area. They flower from November through to February. There's a bright orange flower. No flower. They're also a parasite and need a small amount of another plant to survive. About 60 or 70 metres to our left here, Nutsia floribunda, the world's largest mistletoe. Down to the left front is the Albany woolly bush. vast area on the corner to our right front is the Firefighters Memorial Grove. It honours the bravery and sacrifice of thousands of Western Australian firefighters over generations. Over the corner right front on the 23rd of July 2001. It's laid out, as you can see, the Southern Cross. In the centre represents a bird stump and the rocket front a flame. On the hill to our right is the DNA Tower. As you can see in the DNA molecules of the
Nha,
human
thấy cái
body.
mặt nha, thì sẽ
There's 101 steps to the top. From the top of the tower on a good day you can see glimpses of Rondest Island, located to our right off the coast of Fremantle. To our left, these silver trees are the Silver Princess. They belong to the Eucalyptus family. Just down to the left front here, approximately 20 metres or so, there's an orange, brown and grey cone on a shrub. That is a Banksia grandis manzai, known as Banksia. There are 76 different species of Banksia found throughout Australia. 61 of those species are native to Western Australia. There's some red flowers starting to appear on this plant to our left here. It's known as Arcasia or red hot poker. More Banksia to our left front. The second plant to our left here is a grevillea. There's lemon and lime coloured flowers on it once in flower. Just down to our left here, approximately 60 metres, so there's a white roof building. It looks like a trampoline that's shaped like a kidney. That is a rotunda or an Aboriginal war memorial dedicated to all our Indigenous soldiers who died in line of duty. The narrow neck of land in the middle of the river is Mill Point, which goes on to South Perth.
Okay.
Across the river to our left there's a building that looks like a centurion's hat. That's the 5-star Intercontinental Hotel from the Bursley Resort. On the skyline is the Darling Ranges, the highest peak. Located 70 kilometres south of Perth is Mount Cook, which is 580 metres above sea level. At the moment we're just over 120 metres above sea level. On our left front is the John Septimus Roe Lookout. John Septimus Roe was the first surveyor general in Perth from 1829 to 1870. He was responsible for the layout of Perth as we see it today. And Perth is laid out magnificently. Now we're on 42, over the grass area to our left front. Behind the yellow plant is a tree that looks like a bottle. There's another 2 of those just to the left of the pathway. They're small boab trees brought down from the Kimberley region of WA and replanted here. In the Kimberley region, located over 2,000 kilometres north of Perth, these boabs go up to 19.5 metres around the curve. They run from the belt from the Kimberley region right through to Madagascar. They're also known as the upside down tree. There's no leaves on the top, it looks like the roots on the top of the tree. East coast of Australia. Entering a natural bush area of Hughes Park. Approximately 15 months ago, nearly 20 hectares of bush ahead of us was burnt out. The fire was deliberately lit. Authorities have found to lit the fire. It is illegal to light fires in Hughes Park. There's recently been a $50,000 reward offered for information for the apprehension of anyone lighting fires in the park. There's another very common view of the Swan from here. It's approximately 3 kilometres to the opposite side of the river. In the distance to our left, the Canning River and the Canning Bridge, built in 1849. The tall building of the Canning Bridge is the Raffles Hotel. You'll notice in the distance there's quite a lot of bush. Perth has left 10% natural bush in the metropolitan area. That's more than any other capital city in Australia. Down to the left front here, some grass trees. These are known as Xanthria. Local Aboriginals call them belga. They're widely or commonly known as black boys. On our right, these bush palms are Xanthria palms. There's a nice grey coloured flower all over the plant resembling smoke. There's 29 different varieties of smoke bush, and they're all native to Western Australia. These tree shrubs on our left here are the parrot bush, belong to the Dryandra family. There are 275 different species of Dryandra found throughout Australia. Mrs. Matilda Bay, was named after John Septimus Roe's wife, Matilda Bennett. At the far end of Matilda Bay, and the left from the distance, is the Royal Perth Yacht Club. They moved there from upriver in 1955. They've been known for their America's Cup defence with the Bond Syndicate. In 1983, the America's Cup was won. It was the first time in 132 years the old mug had left the United States soil. And that cup was held over here at the Royal Perth Yacht Club for 4 years. The series of races were run from Fremantle, approximately 8 kilometres from the left front in 1987. The Americans won those races, but it transformed Fremantle into what we know today as a very lovely old world charm port. If you want to stop and have a look at the views from here, folks, we can stay for a couple of minutes if you like, to have a look at the views to look at, and maybe take some photographs. We're here for 2 minutes or so.
一級嘅貨船嘅，你喺嗰邊真係落水啫喎，黑到晒個天。你喺嗰度啊？有幾大水要？
Ringneck parrots, field mice, rainbow lorikeets. There's possums, reptiles, and tudage, which is a native cat. There's the echidna, woolly wagtail, mudlark. There's ample shaded areas of fruit farming in the public. Towards the middle of the lake, there are plaques showing history of this area. The other side of the lake is also another playground for children. This gazebo on our right front used to be the mortuary chapel for the Karrakata Cemetery in Fremantle for over a century. Since it was relocated this spot on our right, it's now dedicated to the 63 Western Australian soldiers who lost their lives in the Vietnam conflict. Our Vietnam Memorial. Their names are inscribed inside the memorial this end. At the far end of the memorial are 2 statues, one of an Australian regular and one of a South Vietnamese regular soldier.
And these are all the school kids.
School kids going over this road. The other side of the bridge area to our right here is the Arthur Farrell Children's Treetop Walk. Decide you want to stay here, there's another tram 1 hour behind us. Your ticket's also valid on a tram. If you're staying here and show your tram tickets at the Zamia Cafe, you'll receive 2 teas or coffees for the price of 1. Emblem of Western Australia is the red and green kangaroo. Or our animal emblem is the numbat, and our bird symbol is the black swan. Next one. The local Indigenous community tells us before settlers arrived here in Western Australia, this area to our right in the distance was a major Aboriginal hunting ground. They were separated into two groups. The smaller of the groups were laid in waiting at the bottom of the sheer cliffs to our right in the distance near the river with traps, spears, clubs, and hung boomerangs. The other very large group of Aboriginals, with Nulla's noise sticks and didgeridoos, would spread out to the bush, making as much noise as they could, walking towards the cliffs in the distance and flying anything over to the waiting Aboriginals below. For thousands of years, Australian Aboriginals were hunters and gatherers. They'd moved from one area to the next. When the time or season was right, they'd return again. On our left front here is a small open-air amphitheatre. This is dedicated to local Aboriginals who still frequent the area, our traditional owners, the Noongar Aboriginals. Etched in the square funnel box and down below to our left, there are 24 different birds and flowers of Western Australia. Over the grass area on our right is the symbolic flame, dedicated to the 2nd and 28th Infantry Battalions in the 24th Anti-Tank Company of World War II. This is one of 29 memorials in Kings Park. On our right is the Rats of Tobruk Memorial, and further over there, the bush area to our right front, a memorial to prisoners of war. Saw Avenue to our left goes through to Subiaco, one of the suburbs of the metropolitan area. On our left front, the Saw picnic area, named after the 5th resident of Kings Park, William Saw. These non-native streets and classes. The fire department also placed fire hydrants right throughout Kings Park. If you're feeling a little tired or light-headed about now, maybe it's because my commentary is a bit boring, but it may be because we're approaching the highest point of Kings Park. This is known as May Circle, the highest point of Kings Park.
Really?
Here in Western Australia, there are over 100 different species of snakes. 3 varieties of snakes have been seen here in Kings Park. If you're walking in bushed areas, always make some kind of noise. Snakes will usually move out of your way. If you're unlucky enough to be bitten by one, always assume it's poisonous. Apply a firm bandage to the affected area, which can be a shirt or a skirt in an emergency. Immobilise the limb and seek medical help immediately. At this time of the year, most snakes are in hibernation. Just along this footpath to our left is the Kings Park Tennis Club and the Loftus West family area, which can be accessed from the opposite side of the park. Just through to our left front of the Mount Eliza Reservoir, named after left front is completely enclosed.
Do you never long on that?
There's approximately 90 full-time employees in Kings Park. There's also another group of volunteers known as the Friends of the Park. These 2 groups of people are responsible for much of what you've seen here today, the Friends of the Park. Next stop is the Murray Street stop in the city centre, or Harbour Town if you require it. 1929, this side of the memorial is the West Spring Wall of 1954. In the centre of the West Spring Wall is the Eternal Flame, honouring those who never returned from active duty. Lord John Forrest, through on the left front here, when he was the first Premier of West Australia and the first President of Kings Park, at the time he introduced an Act of Parliament to save Kings Park from developers. developers have only managed to build around the fringe areas of Kings Park. Kings Park is open to the public 29 children, 5 girls and 4 boys. She was made Empress of India and Queen of Australia and never set foot in the country. She reigned for 63.5 years, the longest reigning British monarch today, Queen Victoria. Just before the buildings on our right front is the latest memorial in perished in that disaster, on our right the Bali Memorial. Over to our left front is the 10th Light Horse Memorial of World War I, opened there in 1920. It was involved in the last great cavalry charge at Beersheba on October the 31st, 1917. New South Wales and Queensland, the east coast of Australia. But as you can see, they grow quite well in the west. In the centre of the roundabout on our right front is a memorial clock. It was dedicated to Edith Dursky Cowan, the first female elected to Parliament in Australia and the Legislative Assembly. She was a member of the suburb of West Perth. She was elected to office on the 12th of March 1921. There was one of 5 units. It opened as Perth's Observatory in 1900. The observatory was dismantled from here in 1963. It's now the offices on the hill to our right for the National Trust of Western Australian branch. The largest telescope open to the public here in Western Australia is only 75 kilometres north of Perth towards Lancelin. Along the Lancelin Road north of Perth is a turn-off away from the coast to the Southern Cross Cosmos Centre. There's all kinds of telescopes there, including the largest one open to the public, and the Cosmos Centre 75 kilometres north of Perth. In the same area next door to the Cosmos Centre is the Gravity Discovery Centre, where you can discover mysteries of the universe. There's all kinds of displays there, including the latest edition, the newly opened $2 million Galileo Leaning Tower of Gin.
Black beans 啊，呢啲啊，攞嚟到嚟食飯喎。
係咯，飯桶嘅咩？
工啊，嘅分咁工啊。唔係咧 ，excuse me，do you have economy rice？睇唔到答你。咩 economy rice？
執翻執翻。
sorry。
Em Chinese tea juga. Public place
Phải à?
Không phải là.
Cái cháu cái sữa.
咖喱叻沙，10溝9啊！
唔好彈翻，你都講唔好講乜咯，你唔好講乜嘛。
一碗咖喱叻沙，
有冇拉單啊？
30溝啊！
別隻。好食冇？
OK。
啊，好食啊！
好餓。
誒，過馬車路過嗰邊。
呢個 bus stop 啊，唔係有嗰啲啊，紅黃藍嘅。
呢個有紅黃藍冇？私營啦，嚇？避咗少少地，少少咯。你知尋日係咪？我哋6點夜晚黑瞓覺瞓到今朝早6點半，冇嘢做，啊？我話好攰嘛，嚇？嚇？冇啊，係我買，係，誒我買開你嘅 I Love Perth 咗，阿店嗰啲同埋阿 Dominic 係咪？我買荷包，你問你哋OK冇？我咪，如果我 T-shirt 叫 SMS 俾我哋啦，我荷包我 T-shirt 冇，嚇 ？T-shirt 多呀？喂，我買開荷包俾你啊 Perth。
買
有 T-shirt 冇？
誒，買貴咗3溝。
嚇？你嘅後衫我仲未去啊，冇 Perth 嘅衫啦，落雪咧嘅衫啦。我經你買嚟陣間嚇，咁貴啊，攞嚟瞓覺啫。你中意我就買啊。M 呢個係 ham 啊 bacon 嚟嘅。
bacon 啊，
bacon bread。
唔係呢個唔係 bacon，呢度 ham 嚟嘅。
冇呢個，唔係嗰個。 到幾叻幾叻。
Good
你
morning。
努力成日失波，你努力成日失波，你哋成日交俾你努力做咩都唔明白。一攞到波就失波嘅。
睇得起嘛，因為你好勁啊嘛。
哇！你好勁喎！呢個 3D 電視機你都睇得到啊！
睇到啊！睇到 T 出嚟，換咗個 default。
忘記攞攞啲出嚟。
啊，你唔記得攞啲出嚟啊？
嗱，嗰啲你上上，
我先，
老公，
邊係冇嘈嘅？
瞓醒咗係咪？就唔知邊個打邊個。
好食冇呢
OK。
啊
我食 Australia apple very nice。
啊？Really nice 啊！The apple juice is really nice.
好 fresh。
So 今日嘅 breakfast 幾多厘啊？一條麵包。
包有溝零嘢入去，仲溝零嘢。嗰個 ham 三溝嘢係，頂嗰個我要啲三溝嘢咁啊。
9溝當係10溝，即係叫 breakfast 30溝。
哦，係啊。
咩？
早上嘅 breakfast 日日都係100溝。
唔係，我哋仲30溝啊，係食兩日，因為聽日都係一樣嘅㗎，因為我老嘛。
誒，我想坐 Swan River Cruise 嗰度睇咗嗰啲個 brochure 嘅價錢，我唔敢喎。
我試200幾人。
return 嘅船飛都愛成40幾溝啊！
除非你冇買你 bag，冇買你嗰個冇。
講啊，唔好買乜嘢咁30幾。
未坐過船咩？我都坐過咗啦。
冇呢個船特別嘅。
幾特別！我近排響嗰個紐西蘭坐嗰個係咪？你有睇？
去邊度而家？
We are going to 你講咩名咗
White Man's Bar。
？Men's Bar。
啊！正嘅，你知道。
There you can view kangaroos, koalas, and some of the Perth wildlife
誒，
animals.
推薦你要咯，
啊
推薦你。啊！我哋好似上海咁難，
啊？
好似上海咁難。
First day 哦。哇 I heard you got a new hat 啊？Hey, good man. Cowboy.
Australian cowboy。
啊。
好嘥啲。夠啦。
呢又咪水？你咪帶咗一支嘅？
哦，我找錢。
有找到神啦。
找到。然之後我係買2條hot dog standby 嘛，乾輝我嘛。
鋪都冇啦。變輸啦！